Hey, Arcturus here. Today we're looking at the Spider Tank from LEGO Star Wars. This is set 75361. It comes with 526 pieces, as well as a Grogu figure, a Bo-Katan Kryze, and the Mandalorian, armed with the Darksaber. This was a fun build. It's very heavy on Technic, so if you don't like the Technic style builds, I don't think you would enjoy the set quite as much, but it is still a fun set to put together. Don't know why it's called a spider tank. It definitely feels like it should be a crab tank. I don't know if maybe I'm the only one who thought that. I guess maybe because it has the mandibles. It's not a crab tank, but with the claws and the number of legs, definitely should have been a crab tank in my opinion. It is a fun build to put together. Even though it is very heavy on Technic, that's not normally my preference, but I did enjoy putting this together, although perhaps a little less than I would a more traditional LEGO set. As you can see, the claws can grab people. I've got the Mandalorian here in the claws. I'll take him out for now. Very nice figure there. We get a Bo-Katan figure as well, and the Grogu figure, and we'll look at those momentarily. So there is some movement in these legs. Let's start off by looking at the spider tank, as they call it, first. So as you can see, it is quite heavy on the Technic pieces there. There's a lot less movement than I expected there would be in the legs themselves. Obviously, you can get some movement, but it doesn't really stay. It's mostly kind of set where it is. They can wiggle side to side pretty easily, and they can go up and down a little bit, but not much. The top does not spin at all, which I kind of thought it would. The head has some pretty limited motion here because it's attached by, if I can pop this off, the head is just attached by two of these notched pieces, so it really only gets up and down motion for some reason. These can fold up some, so you can adjust how the front kind of holds, but not very much because it is caught by this bend piece here. So they can't go all the way up. They do get stuck about there. And they can, of course, go down. And this piece can wiggle just ever so slightly. Honestly, wouldn't really call that wiggling, to be honest. The back is pretty simple as well. This feels like it should rotate, but it does not. The only parts that really move on the top here are these side pieces, which can open up to the center, so you could put a figure in there. I would probably keep those closed. And then this is really just the stud launching pieces, and you do get studs for it, although I set them to the side because I always wind up stepping on them, and that's uncomfortable. Personally, I think it's a little disappointing with the way this attaches, but it does work. So I think something like this, where it's kind of overall sticking up just a little bit, so it's kind of artillery, works pretty well. And it does have this upside down hinge plate. I don't know what this is actually called, so you can actually lift it up, which does work quite well. Unfortunately, to have them in this position, you basically can't fire them, which is kind of disappointing in my view, but it works okay. You do have like these sort of sensor nodules on the side, or maybe they're smoke launchers or lights, so it looks more like a spider or a crab. The crab arms do move in and out, and then they have this ball joint here, so they can rotate as you like. So that's at least usable. Final build is a little disappointing, especially for 500 pieces. A lot of those are small pieces. Makes me a little disappointed in this one. The figures, I think, are pretty good. You do get a very nice Mandalorian. Try and zoom in on him here. There we go. You get a nice Mandalorian. You get the Darksaber with dark lightsaber handle, which is very nice. Blaster pistol, of course. Where was it? There it is. And some very nice detail on the figure itself. Some nice detail there on the legs. Metal plates, some pouches and bandoliers on the chest there. You do get the human. You don't get the yellow style heads, of course, because this is LEGO Star Wars. And you do get a very nice jetpack here with missile and some arm printing, which is very nice. Where is that? Ow. Would help if I adjusted my light here so we could see. So you do get some very nice arm printing there. Some nice detail there on the back of the torso. Some additional arm printing on the other arm. And that's about it. This is the traditional Mandalorian jetpack. Let me not lose the head here. And he just has sort of a blank expression there. and then the Mandalorian style helmet. You do get helmet holes on this helmet, unfortunately, and it does have visor and radio attachments for it. I just didn't put them on. Not really my preference to do that. So next we'll look at Bo-Katan. So here she is, armed with dual blaster pistols, some nice Mandalorian armor, a little more detailed, I think, than the Mandalorians, but maybe that's just because it's got the blue, so it seems a little brighter. She does have footprinting here for her boots, some nice blue armor on the legs and some plates there on the side. No side printing on the legs, but some very nice arm printing in that blue and white for the clone Krees, however it said. And then some nice blue here near the collar, as well as a optional helmet, which I'll show in a second, and that same jetpack there, and then a nice simple back to the torso. She does have a dual-sided face print. So there's one, and then two, and also has an optional helmet. Now, unfortunately, this helmet does have the helmet holes, again, for those helmet attachments, but overall, it's okay. I will say they don't come down low enough. You can still see some of the head under the helmet there, which is disappointing, but that's been the case for many of this style of helmet, both for clones and the Mandalorians. So I've definitely noticed that before. I do like the detail on the helmet. It looks quite nice. So, and of course the optional hairpiece, which we saw earlier. And then last, we get Grogu, which is that very tiny sort of baby figure size torso there, which makes sense. The arms on this one are not movable. Very little printing there on the back. Just some printing here on the front for the cloth attachment, and then the little Grogu head, which is removable if you ever wanted to reuse this for something else. Although it does have the green hands, so you probably don't. I believe that's a pretty standard Grogu figure. So give that what you will. Overall, it's kind of hard to recommend the set. It feels a little disappointing with the spider tank. It does not feel like a spider, for one. It doesn't have enough legs. But for 500 pieces, it feels like there should be more, but there are a bunch of tiny pieces, and some of those Technic pieces are quite small. Overall, I mean, it's still a Lego set, so it is still fun to build. Although if you, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't like the Technic quite as much, then the set probably won't interest you, because it is a little more Technic than traditional Lego. But it was fun to put together. I did enjoy it. So that's all I have for this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.